What matters to you? Commitment, dedication, precision, connection. Catching fish? Good. That matters to us too.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve Owens, tournament director for some different stuff, but this week we're talking about Georgia Bass Nation and Florida Bass Nation. As y'all see from me, I'll just go down the line here. We got Matt Vaught, one of the tournament directors for Florida Bass Nation, Brian Nelly, another tournament director for Florida Bass Nation, Blake Abbey and Wave here from Florida down there. They're them Florida Rascals, and then we got Sassy Dan Daniel Davis, my partner in crime, that he and I run, the Bassmaster Kayak Series, Georgia Bass Nation, Tennessee Bass Nation. But we're coming up on, what's, one of our favorite events of every season, and that's the Lake Seminole tournament. And we'd had a couple, and then, Matt and the guys started Florida Bass Nation, and so we linked up with them, and it's kind of like, the college football atmosphere, where you get to meet up and tailgate and see people you hadn't seen in a while. And it's just like-minded, and we all just click for some reason, which is the cool part about fishing, period, but especially kayak fishing. There's an old adage that says, birds of a feather flock together. But if you look around, we all do kind of segregate off into our own groups, and for whatever reason, us guys from Tennessee and Georgia and Florida, we've meshed really well. So we really appreciate being able to link up there. And this is, I think, the third or the fourth one that we've been able to do together. And as Florida grew, and these three guys here, along with Seth Taylor and probably a few others, they've really taken Florida Bass Nation this year and just blown it out of the water. Like it's arguably, in my opinion, and I'll say it because they're here, but
what's happening?
They've got some of the best social media push of any tournament series in the country. And I mean, Bassmaster, Kayak Adventure Series, Queen City, Team Kayak Series, anything. Like those guys, they've all bought in together, and it's refreshing and kind of re-energizes me and, Sassy Dan, because, we do a lot and we have regular lives to run, and just seeing what y'all do is just freaking awesome. And so, I'll introduce everybody from the top. As I said, we got Matt, Brian, Blake.
Hold on. I got to introduce the back-to-back Lake Seminole champion, Steve Owens. And
that guy holding up that check there? That guy. I'm glad somebody mentioned it. Let me get that out of the way. So here's what we're going to talk about today. So, so we appreciate Donaldsonville. And again, we'll get into some of the fishing here in just a little bit, and we won't get too long-winded, but we're here to talk fishing, and we don't want to put, a limit on whatever, because this is just organic. We're all, 4, 5, 6 friends that just get to meet a couple of times a year. And mostly it's a text message world. And so that's kind of how we all communicate. But before we get too far into it, I know 3 of us here are very scatterbrained. Don't know about the other ones, but what we got here going on, and the guy right here, Matt, he's kind of spearheading it. We've got, a native Falcon 11. That's a paddle kayak. Native makes a phenomenal kayak out of Fletcher, North Carolina. So, we've got an angler, Andrew Peak, who's got some cancer stuff going on. And I say cancer stuff not to minimize it, but I don't remember every detail of cancer, because it's horrible, and there's a lot of detail to it. But not to underscore it, like it's a serious battle he's going with. Like it's not a freckle on the face. I mean, this gentleman is, he's got some battles ahead of him, and we're all lifting him up in prayer and support. But there's a raffle here to help, take some of the financial burden off of the things that he and his family have to go through. So, that's a $10 raffle ticket, waffle ticket, whatever you have to say to keep from getting censored these days. I saw a flooring company today that had a nail in their graphic image, and they got banned from social media for having a nail in their picture. So, yeah. And so we're, these guys are stepping up and raising money, and to help these people out. And we always do that as a community, in a community period. But, when it's someone that you've actually met and spent time with, every life is equal, no matter who you are or what you do or what you've done. But when it's one of your own, it hits home a lot. And so we just ask that you all step up in that one. We'll pass the hat, at awards and everything. And Matt, you want to talk about it a little bit? Like, how long is it going? How can we get in touch with you to get you some funds?
Yeah, we're going to be doing stuff for raising money all season, but for this event, we're giving away the kayak. So it's going to be $10 raffle ticket. You can buy as many, and hope we get some people will buy a bunch of them. You like I said, we'll pass around a hat at the awards. You can buy your ticket there if you're planning on being at the awards. You can also reach out to me if you just want to donate. If you're not going to be at the tournament and you just want to donate, we have several different ways that you can donate, either directly to him or to us, and we'll pass it on to him. So,
do we got to be present to win it?
I mean, this thing's been in my living room for months, so I'm wanting to give it away this weekend, if possible.
Well, I tell you what if like yeah, we'll talk off air. We don't want to overcomplicate it, but like just
we can figure it out.
Yeah, whatever it takes to maximize attendance and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Andrew's. For those of you guys that don't know him, Andrew's a young guy. He's newly married. They got a new baby, and he's just probably the nicest guy in our entire club, and that says a lot because there's a lot of nice guys down here in Florida.
Yeah.
And he also fishes with Georgia, and he's actually still coming to so far he's made all the North Region events. Hopefully he'll be able to keep fishing with us, and hopefully he'll be at this event and you guys can meet him. So
yeah. You want to go down through here, Brian? You want to tell everybody who you are, what you do, other than take people's money?
I'm located down in like West Palm Beach area in Florida. I travel the national circuit, full-time guide, mostly do saltwater for guys. But a few years back, I got heavily into the bass tournament scene and jumped on with Florida Bass Nation this year to help out, to kind of build the participation. And we've been doing good with that. So I'm excited for the year.
Yeah. And so we all know Brian. What's your crowning achievement in your kayak career?
Tournament-wise?
Yeah.
Tournament-wise would be the Hobie TOC at Caddo. I think in 2022, I was able to take that down.
I was getting ready to say I'm going to have to pull out the fact that this is a Hobie Bass Open Series TOC Grand Champion. So yeah. The modesty suits a lot of people, but Brian, it blew my mind watching all that unfold. I missed that tournament. I made the first TOC, but I missed that TOC by half an inch, and I had a 1-inch upgrade in my phone that I didn't submit. So tournament directors are stupid too. But when you won that, I had obviously seen you on the road and stuff. That's how we do a lot in passing. And in those days, the Hobie, was a pushing 200 every tournament. So you can't meet everybody. And then I get to looking and I was like, this is a saltwater dude. You're throwing DOA and stuff like that. And I'm like, this dude just come up here and took everybody's stuff, and then as I was watching that, I got to talk to more people across the country, and I'm not going to spill the juice too much, but there's a lot of baits down there that can transition into catching the big heads and stuff like that. And so I took a few notes. I've actually benefited once or twice from actually doing that. But then, life gets busy and I lose the ability to hone in on something and try to do it. But we know Ewing shared something he did. It was a saltwater bait on a chatterbait trailer, and he would reel it, pause it, and let it die. And that's what won him the Harris chain, was doing that. So we appreciate that and appreciate your humility there. So we'll get into some more stories later about Brian Nelly horror stories for myself here. So, but Blake, introduce yourself, Blake, too. We got another Hobie BOS champion of an event. What was that event you took?
That was the Harris chain.
Harris Chain. You're going to be fishing the Bassmaster down there again, I assume.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Where tell us, just go ahead and give your bio real quick.
Well, I was a big Brian Nelly fan coming in. To be honest, I told Brian this. I was scrolling Instagram and I saw that picture of him with the $45,000 check. And I was like, I want to do that. So Shane Williams had been bugging me. Well, not bugging me. I was back and forth with him about fishing the Hobie BOS. Shane Williams?
Never heard of her.
I had to do that to him.
I know.
Did my thing. Okay. So I was out in California with Yakabass for a long time, and got a $25 gift card from them in a laminated 8x10. And anyways, long story short, I was out west and I came, and the Hobie BOS was the first event I fished in Florida, so I got lucky. I just started out lucky. I feel like I was training for that event for 10 years of just, fishing, like without any pressure but now I struggle to win in a group of 10 people. Now I get anxiety thinking about fishing against Brian and Seth and Matt. Freaking dude, I'm like driving to these events. I'm like, do I even have a shot? But
yeah, like, why am I doing this other than to stop at the gas station and see what they got new, right?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head early in the conversation with the camaraderie and just hanging out with people and seeing people. I like all my friends live under my roof and kayak bass fish, so that's like my entire world. And I follow a lot of people online too. Just my whole feed is just kayak anglers, and I'm always trying to reach out to people. I've been making a lot of videos for the Florida Bass Nation. So when, I'm going to bring the camera up to Seminole. I've never fished Seminole, by the way. So I'm donating on this trip, but I want to really try to build up both clubs, all the Bass Nation clubs that were around. So, because I think it's the coolest thing in the world, but and maybe 40 other people do too.
Well, it is. So what, and me and Daniel can relate. When you start showing up to things, regardless of how competitive you want to be in that day, that's when you know that somebody's giving, and the world's full of takers. We all know that, not in a negative connotation. Some people take and they don't even realize it, but, to be able to say, hey, I'm still going to show up. And that's something as tournament directors, I try to promote to everybody. Cause like, me and Daniel, we traveled the country for a long time, get our teeth kicked in, but it's, the word ROI to me is a cuss word. It's cause that's not why I do it, and I understand, there's instances where you have to pay attention to that, so that you can leave your house. If you got a family, a wife, whatever, you got to pay attention to if I'm going to spend X amount of dollars to drive over here or there. But the spirit of competition is all I need. I don't care if we go and fish a mud puddle in Arizona. If I'm able to do it financially, then I just want to go fish it to be competitive. So, that's cool that you say that. It's like, hey, regardless of what I do, I've never fished Seminole. I'm just going to come and show up and help build the community. I heard somebody say one time, and pretty sharp person, kind of cynical, was like, people talk about growing this and growing that. That's a bunch of hogwash and whatever. It's not for everybody.
No
there's a lot of us that want to grow it. And a lot of people grow it by just supporting the people who try to get out front and do it. The thank yous are as important as the boots on the ground kind of stuff. So appreciate you doing that, Blake.
Man. And just to say one thing, like, I've never fished Seminole, but I'm still coming there intending to win. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think anybody who goes into any tournament should go there and try to win. But that's just my opinion.
It's a lake to do it.
Honestly. Yeah, to fish your best. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, you've got to catch 5 fish, 5 big ones. Like, just make it happen. So
that's absolutely right. Yeah.
There's a bit more than 5. in there for sure.
Yeah.
That's one lake that it's averaged 59 anglers on this event in the last 3 years, and it took 99 and a half in 2023 to win it, 97 and 24, and then the century mark of 100, last year. Congratulations, Steve-O, on that one. Absolutely.
That's a sexy guy right there.
Yeah.
Guy.
I mean, those are some pretty huge stats, and a lot of fish in that lake. It's a fun lake, and it's fantastic. This is one to fish. If there's any to hit, especially on a joint event, this is the one, because it will pre-fishing even. I mean, it'll make your day. It's a fantastic fishery.
Our Florida Bass Nation State Championship is on Seminole, so just if anybody's watching, it's 15-minute mark. This is the perfect opportunity to come check out the lake. So I'm excited, win, lose, draw, just to see the water and see a couple launches and hang out with you guys. So if anybody in Florida Bass Nation is on the fence, I saw Amy Brown commented earlier, sign up, let's go. Check out because this is where the championship is. So come see it.
Yeah, and so Sassy Daniel Davis is down there at the bottom. Daniel's, obviously, my ABC in all of it, but Daniel's a check casher, likes to support everywhere he can when he travels. So just give a quick bio of you, Daniel. We'll get into some details on past history here and what we're going to do in next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been kayak fishing, since 2016, end of 2016, maybe 2017, and I'd bass boat fished or bank fished like most of my life, and I ended up with this sucker here, like reaching out to him on Facebook one day. I didn't want to pay bass boat money, and I saw all his pictures fishing out of a kayak. So I reached out to Steve. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking at getting this one kayak," and he said, "Demo," and I went ahead and ignored him, and ended up buying what I wanted.
Which, by the way, ignoring me is not a bad strategy, to be honest.
It's not bad. Like, you're 50-50 on that, absolutely. And but I bought a Perception Striker 10.5 foot. They advertise you could stand up in it. You could, but you're gonna pucker the whole dang way doing it. And we went out fishing, and he was on the native team during that time. And there's Shane Williams. That's that guy. Oh, I know who that is. And but anyway, so I reached out. He reached out to go fun fishing one day. It was the third trip out in a kayak, and he said, "Hey, do you want to get in this native Slayer Propel and try it out?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I got it, and I was like, "Man, I screwed up." So I ended up buying that kayak from him, and
I needed some rent money, and he paid.
Yeah, and so we're in TVKA. This is an old school shirt, by the way, for TVKA, and
old school shirt, new boobs, by the way.
New boobs.
Yeah.
And we kind of worked together to grow it and everything. And all of a sudden at check-in, he started handing me the phone to judge fish and sucker me into doing the directing side of things. And we got to do the first bass master, and what was that lake in Alabama?
Logan Martin.
We got to run that one together. We ran in 2019 the Cass State Championship, and it's grown from there. We started doing Tennessee Bass Nation, and Georgia Bass helped out a little bit with Alabama, and then got back into the Bassmaster stuff. So that's my tenure in this. And my biggest thing is the running tournament side of things it's so rewarding, because all these anglers out here, the loyalty that they give to events run with integrity is just amazing. And so we keep coming back and trying to make the sport as best as we can, and the anglers seem to love it. So that's what we do. I got to help Steve quit his 9 to 5, and I'm happy with that. My hat on.
Absolutely. You just treat Daniel with a little bourbon every now and again, and he'll let you. Yeah. So yeah, but
follow you around, evidently.
Absolutely. So yeah. Yep. So, but that's kind of just a loose, very scatterbrained introduction to all of us. And so, just to recap what we've had going on so far before we get into the specifics of this event, this was the last Florida Bass Nation. Is this the North region, guys?
Yeah.
That was South.
South? Okay.
The one that you have on the board is South.
Yeah, that was your last one. So obviously we got Brian on stage here. So what were y'all fishing, and how did you get 94 3/4 on this one?
Oh, me?
Yeah, Brian Nelly. That's your name right there.
Yeah. I literally fished a 100-yard stretch, going back and forth from a couple of spots, throwing a 8-inch DOA trick worm, and just hopping it slow, giving it a hop, let it sit for a while, give it a hop. I think there's a couple of highways that these fish were moving in and out to go in there and spawn, but also there was definitely some spawning on the pads in these areas as well. So
is a top secret bait what you were throwing? I didn't get to watch y'all's recap, which y'all do a great job of.
Oh no, I said a DOA 8-inch trick worm.
He gave it away, Steve.
Yeah.
Got you. Well, our graphics guy just sent me a message, so I apologize. I was trying to respond to that too. We were just talking about how we got on here. As our day shuts down, it seems like everybody else's gets started up. So I apologize for multitasking. So
I think you just wanted to confirm it, hear it again, give you a chance to change the ball there.
I've got two of my top baits for Seminole that laid down. So if Brian's throwing it somewhere else, I'm gonna try it on Seminole. So there, yeah.
Well, what Steve-O, what did you throw in 2024 to win? Georgia
2024 was last year, right? So
you did 2024 and 2025.
So here's my horror story. So mine was dumb luck, like literally the ramp. So during practice, I had work stuff come up, and which, mine's all running my mouth on the phone, but so I couldn't get to where I needed to go. And so in 23, I historically fished the same two areas because, we used to judge fish on the lakes before we started outsourcing. And so hyper paranoid about that. So Casey Smith.
2023, you finished 23rd.
2023, I finished first in that one. I won 23 and 24. I won 24 and 25. I won 24. Yeah, 24.
You had 64 and a half inches on 23. You may want to give that bait out so nobody fishes it.
Well, I threw the same thing, but I had Couth in my back pocket. I had to haul Couth around for 4 days. So, and so we show up to the ramp. Casey Smith, he had we stayed close to that ramp, and he had his breathing stuff happen, and we just fished the gator hole. Everybody, y'all know what the gator hole is, and we didn't catch jack crap. And so we show up to the ramp that next morning, and Casey, we get him loaded in, and he got something in the war. He's one of those crown eating Marines, and so he wasn't doing real well. So I was like, we'll just launch right here by the house. And so we launch, and Brian, we know each other decently, but doesn't know that I'm hyper paranoid. So I show up the ramp right there in the morning, and he says, "Oh, look, we got another tournament director at a ramp." And I was like, "Mother effer." So it shook me. Like, I didn't know I probably couldn't tie my shoes. And I'm like, well, do I need to leave? What do I do? Is this guy think I'm poaching in or whatever? I ain't caught a fish in 3 days, yeah. So we get to launch and we get out there to the blast zone because evidently my superpower is scheduling tournaments at the opening of duck season across the country, no matter where we go.
Feel you there.
Yeah. And so I keep floating in, and these guys are like, "Hey, man, I said, guys, look, you just let me know where I need to go." And they're like, "Well, where you're at is where we're going to be blasting." So I just left and went back to the gator hole just to get out of the way. And I lost a bunch of big fish, probably about 6 or 8 big fish. And right as I went to cast, it slipped and the bait fell, and I grabbed it for whatever reason. And the hook did not even stick me. And I was like, what the crap? My hook was folded over. So I retied, and immediately, wham, before I knew it, I had like 96, 97 inches, 94 inches, I think. And it was a chatterbait. This is a jackhammer, golden shiner jackhammer. And then so I left and went out to the front, and I saw Casey coming back from the ramp. He had to go back for a breathing treatment. So we just stopped where he was at and they were there too. And so that's how I got that one. But Brian freaked me out. Like I literally almost packed up because I'm hyper paranoid because I'm a tournament director, you know. And so I think I'd actually bugged him and middle school girled him later. It's like, man, I didn't mean yada yada. And he was like, get out of here, you know, I'm messing around. So but 2024 was dumb luck too, because I was practicing and, you know, I worked for Dugout Bait and Tackle. And so we had a business call that we had to take. And I just pulled over at a boat ramp because we didn't have good cell signal on Seminole. And I was on the phone. And when we got done, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fish here. And so I started casting and caught a fish every 60, 70 yards. And so I just quit. And so this is where I'm going. So I start out the next morning. I go to hit the A1 spot, and those little bow shooter carp guys destroyed half a mile of water. And they got that right, but I'm just saying they had tracked all over the fish I was catching shallow. And so I caught a 13-incher off of a swirl. And then I threw right back in where that swirl was, and wham, for all I knew, it was a catfish. So I horsed it in and I went to net it, and it was a 23.5. And I was like, well, this is it. You know, I've caught other fish all over this area. I got it. And I looked at my phone 30 minutes later, and Brian posted a 23.5. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And so that was it. I was shook again. Brian Nelly had got me. And so for like 2 hours, all I could think was, why are you even fishing? Brian already has a 23.5. He can catch far better fish than you can. And you're just whatever. And I just kept messing around, and I had no motor, no fish finder. Really, my transducer went out on one. So all I had was a map. And I just started hitting what looked like little tight springs, and I started catching fish. And so it was all dumb luck. And I'm not insulting y'all saying the idiot beat you, but fishing's dumb luck. It's just, yeah. And so that's just how I did it. And that was a chatterbait and a Cinco, chatterbait and a Cinco. But that's why I like awards so much, is because we get to talk to the guys like, you know, Matt and Dwayne, you know, and all the guys, you know, they get to come through, Brandon and them. So, you know, I know Matt, we were talking earlier, he's 2.5 hours away from Seminole, but it's where he goes. So what draws you to Seminole so much, Matt?
I mean, the fishing, like it was the lake that taught me how to fish, to be honest with you. Like I mentioned before, I used to fish around here locally in the rivers and bass club, and we just don't have any fish around here to catch. It's really hard to learn how to fish, you know, when a big fish is 1.5 pounds, and it's hard to catch 5 of those, you know. So one day I got a GPS with a good mapping system, and I took a trip to Lake Seminole and met my cousin over there, and I learned to use a graph, and I just found the depth change lines, and I ran them, and I learned at Seminole, if you hit those 3 to 5 foot break lines most of the year, you're on the bass. You just can find some good hydrilla on those break lines and run them, and you can catch some pretty good fish. And then, you know, eventually I started learning how to catch fish, and, you know, started putting up some big bags, and moved into the kayak world, and started getting consistent over there. And it's the only lake I've ever been to where, if you're over there and fishing a lot, like catching a 20-pound bag is kind of what you expect when you go over there.
Yeah.
And there's just not many lakes in the country that you can do that consistently in.
What about Chobe, Matt?
I do love Okeechobee.
You don't tournament love Okeechobee though?
No, I tournament love Okeechobee big time, but it's a 10-hour drive one way for me to get to Okeechobee. So I would fish every tournament there ever was at Okeechobee if I could.
Did he freeze?
Did I freeze?
No, he sounded good to me.
Okay, I froze.
Yeah, Blake's got it. He's got that freeze there. So what are you closest to around there, Brian? I know you saltwater guide mainly, right? With pushing water, is that correct?
Yeah, but like lake wise would probably be Okeechobee or like Headwaters area, like Garcia, Blue Cypress, those lakes over there. They're all about 1.5 hours or so from me.
And so, like, with pushing water, what's that base city out of if people are coming down to get, on something?
A general location is like West Palm Beach area.
Yeah.
That's central location. We go north and south of there like 30 minutes.
So like I was fortunate enough to get out with Barton and Matthew Van one day before they blasted that bridge. So I only know what they target after, but like, what are the fish, that are in y'all's area? I don't know if y'all's saltwater is like us. You've got spotted bass here and bluegill there, or are all the tropical fish in y'all's waters,
Pretty
like
much
tarpons?
anything you can think of, we have.
Really?
Yeah, we're very blessed to have probably the best fishing all around in freshwater too, with the exotics of peacock bass and clown knifefish, and then you got largemouth, world-class largemouth lakes, all within again an hour again of West Palm Beach area, and you can be out in the ocean catching pelagics, within 15 minutes.
So like you'll take people to catch largemouth too. You're not just saltwater.
Well, again, guiding wise, we fish on a chain of lakes that has the exotics with peacock bass and clown knife, and there are largemouth in there, but the largemouth are really kind of a bycatch. So we're more targeting the exotic type, like peacocks and clowns for freshwater stuff. And I don't take people guiding like, say, on Okeechobee or Headwaters or anything like that. Again, the bass fishing thing is kind of, I only really bass fish for tournaments, and that's about it. So
Yeah. And so, Blake, are you anywhere near saltwater, or are you a landlocked guy?
Yeah, no, I snook fish a lot, and snook are very similar to bass. I talked to Ewing Miner ever since I met him at the Hobie event. We talk about it all the time. I love throwing a Bill Lewis rattle trap. And hey, come here, honey. I've caught more snook.
Get that fork out of the receptacle.
I've caught more snook on a Bill Lewis rattle trap than anything. When Brian says he's fishing these DOA baits for bass, I don't even believe him. I don't believe him right now. I don't even. Dude, he takes it out of the mouth and then posts pictures. I'm like, there's no way he caught that on that freaking thing. But the absolute truth is, I throw a Bill Lewis rattle trap for snook. And my grandpa taught me how to fish. When I was this age, big fish eat little fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, big fish eat little fish. When Brian's out on the kayaks for sailfish, they're eating little fish. When you're fishing for, please. I'm not a big chatterbait guy. You were talking a lot of the guys talk about chatterbaits. I'm more of a rattle trap guy, like a lipless crankbait guy. I feel like they can do the same thing. What's up?
I'm converting him to be a chatterbait guy.
Yeah,
he's trying. Matt and I did well at Orange Lake this year, and I did actually catch fish on a chatterbait. And I texted Brian immediately. I was like, dude, they do work.
Brian Thrift is not a liar.
Yeah. Well, any award show that I go to, or any awards that I see, 90% of the people are like, "How to jackhammer locked in all day," and I'm just like, dude. The first time I heard that, I swear, I was like, "What's a jackhammer?" I had no idea what it was. I was like,
the best part is if they lock in on that, it's going to be your best day. Like it is. If you catch them on it, you're not putting it down. You may like pause, throw something else. You're going to pick it back up, and it's so addictive, and it's so fun to catch them on it.
I'm just stubborn.
It's also one of those baits that when they're not biting anything, you can fish that chatterbait through the heavy enough grass that you just run it into their face and they got no choice to bite it. So it's a really good bait. And when they're eating it, like you said, it's amazing. But when they're not eating it, it's sometimes the only thing you can catch one on.
It hurt. It's like throwing an A-rig most of the time, though. Sometimes it's like at the end of the day, you're like, God, I'm hurting.
Yeah. You put it down just to eat a sandwich, take a leak, or throw a Cinco just to give your arms a rest. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we live Chick, Gunnersville, stuff like that, and
I've seen the hats that say Scope and Hope. I think Jake Angelis makes. I was hoping that somebody would come out with one that said Chuck and Wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping that
There's a
Chuck and Wind hat would come out for the people who just cast all day. And so,
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Ewing, Dale Hollow one year. He was throwing a jackhammer in freaking 80 foot of water and catching fish. He ended up hooking up with a walleye that caught below. He ended up messaging us. We were staying at the same cabin.
Yeah,
that
I
day.
forgot about that. Yeah.
Hey,
Mitchell
he said,
Creek.
people ain't got a fillet knife. It's like, hell no. He's, all right, I'll check the cabin and see if there's something. He caught like a 24, 26 inch walleye that it got the caught blowed on the way up. He ended up filleting the whole thing and eating the whole thing himself. But he's throwing a jackhammer during that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I always talk to Ewing whenever there's a tournament in Florida coming up. He just hits me up. I don't know why. He's like, hey, man, how's it going?
Oh, I don't know why either.
It's part of that college network
good thing.
mentality.
No, I don't know. No, I
He
actually
gets me like that reaching out to you. Yeah, you're in the know when we're
he's the most gracious person on earth. He brought me fishing
Good.
rods. He brought me fishing rods to Cayuga. I flew to Cayuga with nothing, and he brought his fishing rods, the good ones too.
Yep.
So no, I really like him. Honestly, when I got involved in the scene, like, I really, like I said, I looked up to Brian Nelly. Like I looked up to like I saw these people on the internet, and I was like, just like when you see a band. The first band I saw, I was like, I want to be that. I was like, I want to get that bass guitar. I want to be that dude. I want to have a girlfriend. So, as a 40-year-old adult male, I started developing crushes on kayak anglers. And I'm like,
all right.
Yeah, no, in a good way and a weird way.
Yeah, no, like it's understandable.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a hand in the back pocket during a hug. It's all right. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, football players do it wearing tights. So
Absolutely.
I mean, those anglers that are so consistent, it's not hard to look up to and gain and garner advice from, especially like, Ewing's a good one. He's young as he is. He's, as far as like mentality, he's far advanced in age unless he starts drinking. And but no, he's absolutely a good one and a good dude that will share information and finding people. I find it myself. I find it hard to solicit information. I want to try to figure out as much as I can on my own. But those ones that are willing to like bring other people up, those are the pillars of the sport. And yeah, I consider Ewing one of those.
Yeah. And on the tournament directing side, I mean, since that's kind of the theme here, I talked to Steve at Champlain and I was like, dude, I'm going all in. I was like, I'm going all in on Florida Bass Nation. I was like, I'm not doing it 99%. I'm going all in. And he's just like packing up his truck. He's like, okay, Blake, later.
Whatever, man.
He's like, all right, gotta go. I'm like,
I got to go home and wait for the next damn landmine for me to step on.
I was the last guy there, and I just remember like talking to him. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show him. So it's been great, honestly. Greg Thomas stepped out and he moved, but he's still gonna be involved in what else happened? We had another. Oh, Seth is moving to Texas. I don't know if that's public knowledge, but
yeah,
Seth Taylor's moving to Texas. So, Steve, you said something earlier in the conversation that I wanted to touch on. You said like getting the thank yous or something from the people is worth it. And Dan, you were saying, the gratification you get, like,
yeah,
in my inbox, like on Instagram and Facebook and in real life, people are like, dude, you guys are killing it. Thank you so much. Like they get excited about the jerseys and the trophies and just the little video clips. Like I think people want to feel important and want to be seen and want to be visible. And I mean, that's just the way of the world, like that Bassmaster kayak article that came out. Dude,
yeah.
People see their name in there and they're like, oh my God. Like I saw the magazine. I was filming the article, sending it to Chris Blanco. I'm like, dude, did you see this? He's like, bring me the magazine. So I took him the magazine at the recent event and then filmed him getting the magazine. So like all these small things, I think for the greater good of the brand and behind the shield, the Bass Shield, the more exposure we get on all the anglers, the perception says it is growing. And if I've talked to people too, that are like, oh dude, Bassmaster's going to drop kayak series. I'm like, you're wrong. I was like, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean we've got just enough sponsor support right now. We've got another contract coming up with a new AOY sponsor next year for next year. It should be announced next week, and I'll go ahead and share it here. So we just actually had a meeting yesterday. So like you all know, the reason we moved to October on a championship is because the Bassmaster Classic, that's what that is. That's the Bassmaster Classic. It's for the elites and the elite series. The kayak series has always been in conjunction with it to get it off the ground, help it get popularized, etc. But our championship is the same week as the biggest event in sport fishing. And so we always get lost, and you're always going to get lost. And you're not lost because you don't matter. You're just lost because it's essentially trying to put something in the Super Bowl of fishing. And so, we've been able to be incorporated, but that's not our platform. It's the elites platforms. It would just be like, it would be like if the college tried to perform during our championship. And so, we chose to separate it. Number one, because we've got a successful roster now, a good following. The second part is that we would be able to get the elite stage, the media truck and trailer to stream and grow our own championship so that we would be a standalone championship like every other championship. And so in doing that, part of what kicked that off was, the Texas Bassmaster. We all watched it on television, and it was so long. So they're cutting an hour and a half to 2 hours off of the classic televised event. So when that happens, you have to start cutting things. And so the college and the high school, they're not on stage whatsoever. Now we're going to be on stage. Our stage time, we typically had 20 minutes in the past, 15 to 20 minutes. Now this year in Knoxville, it's going to be cut pretty short. Like we're not rushing through it, but I've changed the format. So essentially we'll basically call the top 10 up. I'll say top 10, John Doe, here's your check. Ninth place, John Doe, here's your check. And then when we get to the winner, we'll let them do their interview thing, but it'll be a lot shorter. But what we were able to add in doing that to kind of make up for having to cut the stage is on Saturday. Inside the expo, Bassmaster has the largest stage in the expo too. Don't know if any of you, if most of you've ever been to one, but there's a massive stage in the middle of the expo. And so we'll have 1 hour on that stage and we'll stream it. And we'll call the top 10 up there, the Angler of the Year. And whoever else we can incorporate with it if people have to leave and go home. But we get a full hour in the middle of the Bassmaster Expo, which is jam-packed with people. So what that'll also incorporate is, say, Old Town, Hobie Eyewear, Native, whomever, at 2 p.m. whenever myself and we got a Bassmaster podcast series coming up, by the way. Myself and the co-host will be on stage for an hour with our anglers at, let's just say, 2 p.m. Now, all of your sponsors can come and stream you guys being on that stage talking for an hour. And we're going to try to grow that into, hopefully later, we'll get some airtime during the elites. So like in 2027, when we're not a part of the classic for our championship, whoever can show up at that location, we'll still have that hour on stage, and we'll create some kind of segment. And then maybe eventually we can get a position in the chair during the elites to talk for 4 or 5 minutes about kayak fishing. So, it's an ongoing thing. It does kind of suck or deflate a little bit to not have our championship in conjunction with the classic, but at the same time, it makes it a lot easier for us to market us because we're not, overshadowed by the big deal, So that's what we're going to try to do there. And so
I love it.
Yeah, and so real quick before we get into like this particular event, we're just kind of doing a hype thing or whatever. But so what was it? I know Matt, has been there from the start, but what was it that helped you all restructure, revamp, whatever you want to call it down there in Florida. How did all that happen? Whoever wants to
Well,
take that over, I'll let you
Well,
go.
yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it started with, we always had 4 regions, and we're trying to make that work. And you know how it is, trying to run leagues. You're always having staff that's coming and going. So we were having a tournament director that was going to be leaving us. So I was actually going out and trying to find his replacement. And Greg Thomas told me that Blake there was interested in maybe helping out. And talking to Blake, I knew him and Brian were already kind of thinking in the background, ways that we're still there.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sorry about
Got
that.
you now.
But anyway, they came on board and started discussing like the opportunity to take us to 2 regions instead of 4. And to be honest, I was hesitant at first because, well, for one, it's a long drive for me and a lot of guys in my region to make it to any of the other ones. So I was pretty hesitant at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I talked to those guys, the more it made sense. And to be honest with you, I knew that Brian was going to be a big help with the sponsorship, and everybody knows he's really good at promoting. For any of you guys that have seen our presence on social media, Blake is the powerhouse behind that. So I knew that was going to help us quite a bit, but I had no clue how much it was going to affect us. And those guys have done a tremendous job. We're getting great turnouts. We're getting great feedback. Like you mentioned, our social media buzz, like I'm even hearing it from the boat world, the guys telling me how great our presence is. So it's been fantastic. I can't wait to see where it goes. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Blake, Matt, I've got one question for you. The longest peg on that peg board with Zoom baits, what is that?
This one here? That is green pumpkin Magnum speedworms. If you'll look over there, I've got a wall of Magnum speedworms. And green pumpkin and June bug red are definitely.
I can't stop looking at it. I was like,
Well,
what the hell he got 50 packs of?
And I'm constantly restocking that because
just in case.
yeah, I was wondering if that's the color they don't buy, or he just re-upped on the color that they do buy.
No, I literally constantly order them. So
Yeah,
he bought a damn 1.5-foot peg to put them on there, and I was sitting there just like, he's talking, but I'm staring.
So, like, when y'all come to Seminole, where do you go for tackle around there? Because, like, we go to West Side. West Side, those old people they're legit. They got a good shop. But I'm usually on the Bainbridge side or whatever. So, is there anywhere around there that y'all frequent that I don't know about?
Well, no, there was Seminole Outdoors was over on the Georgia side as well. They were always really good, but they closed up shop. So all that we have around the lake now is West Side. So unfortunately, it's a little bit of a drive for us, but it's a good shop over there. So.
Yeah, it is pretty good. So that's where I discovered how good the Booger Man buzzbaits were.
Yeah.
And not only just on Seminole. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah. So like I think like we all reached out and you guys come up with a really good graphic for lodging and everything that'll be shared around. But I'm going to reach out to Fins and Feathers this year because we usually go to Big Jim's, which Big Jim's is great. Donaldsonville's our host, that makes it where, we can cover everything that we need to get down there and do it. But Fins and Feathers is pretty great. Like we love that restaurant / bar pub or whatever. So, how far are you guys staying for Fins and Are y'all familiar with Fins and Feathers, I assume?
I am. I know where it's at. We always stay over at Ease Marina. I met Don and his wife when they first were coming in to buy the place, and they've really fixed it up and just done a lot of great things. They support the veterans, always raising money and having events over there. So I always try to support them and bring a crowd over to Ease when possible. So.
Well, I mean, to be honest, we're not tied to it. If you shoot me the information at Ease, and I'll give it a look, and we'll all put our heads together, and whatever we decide, I don't think, we got a couple of days to figure that out. I mean, people are going to gripe no matter where check-in is, no matter what, because it seems like it's always the furthest away from your fishing spot.
Yeah, I mean, your area over there is not a bad area because a lot of people will be fishing that side of the lake, so it's not.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's you're never gonna on a lake like that. You're never gonna please everybody because even though Seminole's not a big lake, there's no bridges that cross it, so it's pretty good ways to drive around it.
Yeah. I had one guy on a Bassmaster tournament last year, beloved guy, 4 tournaments. He said, I can't believe you put registration here. My Airbnb is way over here and this, that, and the other. And I said, okay. And I knew it was coming. So I said, where'd you fish at this weekend? Oh, I fished over here and this, that, and the other. And on that 4th tournament, as buddies, I let him have it. I said, hey man, you've said this 4 tournaments in a row now. I said, here's where you stayed and here's where you fished. I said, you realize you fished an hour away from your house? I was like, where am I? How am I supposed to pick where you're practicing? I said, you stay here and drive an hour to fish. It was just, it's one of those things. We all do it, or whatever. But yeah, so I guess we'll, we get on here really just for us to talk about what we all got going on. That was kind of the premise of getting us all here. Is me and Daniel are excited that you guys are doing what y'all are doing down there because
what's the Georgia versus Florida bet? What's going on?
Yeah. So that was something, Daniel, we kind of come up with. I don't know. So like I was trying to figure out. I mean, we can all come up with, we all have some prizes to throw in or whatever. But
it ain't nothing if a Tennessee guy wins it. Just letting y'all know.
So I was trying to figure out, what do we do? Do we come up with some kind of cup or just just something for each club to have going forward, because I mean, I don't care if I'm the only one for Georgia to ever show up. We're going to Seminole every year, I mean, it's my
That's
favorite
a rigged
lake
field, everybody, just letting you know.
Yeah, it's my favorite lake in the country. I mean, and so
Are we
I
going
think
to
you
get
do a beer boot and then grave every year who wins.
All right.
As far as between, those beer boots pretty cheap, and then that's my suggestion.
I'm down.
I want to see who can get the most signups. I want to see who gets the most anglers, Florida or Georgia.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Let's see who can get the most attendance. Whoever gets the most attendance gets an extra 5 inches.
So if Florida gets the most, we get to add handicapping, right? Yeah. I already had guys say, "Oh, that's so far to drive," and I said, "I'm 2 hours north of all of y'all because I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee." It's
right.
like,
How far are you?
An 8-hour drive for me and Steve, I think.
Yeah,
it's just 10 hours for me. So
yeah, I'm 6.
I think I'm going years.
For anybody that's on the fence about this one is going to be different than years past. Georgia always brings most of their anglers and has a good turnout, and all the Northwest guys would always show up, and we'd get a straggler or two from the other regions. But I fully anticipate the Florida crew showing up big this time, and I would be surprised if we had less than 75 anglers at this event.
I think it's 75.
Last time I
That
saw
would be a record.
Last time I saw Steve in the flesh, we're definitely going to get 75. I put an air tag on his truck. He didn't know it, but I'm going on defense for Florida. I'm going to circle Steve all day and
He
not
didn't have
fish.
that truck anymore.
Oh,
Texas
shit.
took it out.
Shit.
It's gone.
yeah.
He got totaled. Sorry.
That's on the front of a damn mastodon of a deer in Texas.
Yeah, let's go 75. What was the number? What's the biggest number we've had?
I think we had
68. 68 was 68. 58.
Well,
50.
other than championship, yeah.
Other than championship, yeah.
Let's try to get 75 people to donate to the Steve Owens Fund so he can get a shelter on his journey around the country.
Yeah, there's no three-peat in my site because I'll 67.
2 in a row, dude. That hats off to you. Like
That's impressive.
Cruise tournament.
Has
directors,
anybody in
fish.
kayak fishing ever done a three-peat in anything? I wonder.
No, probably not. But
I can tell you Seminole's especially hard because there's a lot of hammers that's their favorite lake.
Oh, dude,
They fish that lake a lot. And that is not an easy one to win.
and like y'all know, with Seminole, I mean, you can catch. Everybody says 100 inches, but you can catch 90 plus inches out of a 20 by 20 area, you know? So like,
I know a guy that caught 107 and a quarter the other day.
oh,
Allegedly.
By 11 o'clock.
What was the
if it was Dwayne, I don't believe it.
the Hobie on Seminole that we went to, the guy that literally fished out from the ramp caught 104 on day one, and then he went back out to the same spot, caught 100, over 100. Like, I want that guy's spot.
That was Brian Howell.
Yeah, either that one or Josh Counts, whichever one that was.
Yeah,
I think it was Howell, and I will tell y'all one thing. I fished Seminole with Steve O on that Hobie, and he's like a demon possessed for some damn reason on the lake. We had a 10-mile milk run without motors. We pre-fished that we did pre-fishing for 2 days, and there was 2 days of the Hobie. So every day was 10 miles a day, and I was in a native Titan at the time. I'm telling y'all, he puts in some work on that one. So good luck.
Yeah, that was the first year that I had I had just gotten that PA 14, and I realized the efficiency of that motor. Yeah, and half an Adderall a day. That's the only way I made it. Just kidding. Yeah, but we
He's not kidding.
Yeah, no, not kidding.
No, he's not.
Yeah. And so literally cash a check on that. I think I was 5th or 7th. I can't remember, but I borrowed an umbrella rig in practice from Jim Ware, and Daniel's got that GIF. He's got it. He got to send it in that.
I got a video of this 35 pound cat that he caught. Like he'd been catching them, and we went up to the North Hole, and he was like, we didn't have Panoptics, nothing, but he saw this big fish in this damn brush pile. He's like, I'm gonna catch this thing, and he hooks into it. It's like a 30+ pound catfish. He pulled this 30+ pound catfish up, and I'm gonna say less than a minute. Got it in the kayak, got Ned and everything. He's so pissed off because it's not a bass. It flips his tail. They're in this video, like I'll post it maybe after this. He swings at it like I'm gonna fight you. Damn, unhooks it, throws it back in the water, and throws out his unit. And I think his line broke. His last day rig that he had, but he had a good day that day.
Because like they were in the dead pad stems, and we could just watch them, and I was just like, I would just shut everything down and float over. And oh yeah, so that's heartbreak. So yeah, but it's just Seminole's just always been one of those places. So to Matt's point, I mean, they're just there. Like we were talking about the year that I had like 65 inches or something. So Kuth and I were pre-fishing, and I put him in a Hobie, an extra Hobie I had, and I was in my Hobie. No, I borrowed Daniel's, and the rod tubes were leaking. And there's no banks on Lake Seminole. And so I'm about to sink because the rod tubes are leaking. And Kuth is over there, and Kuth's pretty chill. And he's cussing and raising Cain. I watched him lose fish after fish. He probably lost 100 inches, and while I'm sitting there, hoping he'd come and help me out. Yeah. So, but Seminole's just one of those guys. And I know y'all know that, but, I know, and again, like I told y'all, we're going to be all over the place here, but here's where we're at right now. Here is the regional standings for Florida Bass Nation. This is the South region. In 5th place, we got Barbara Moore. You guys all mentioned you have half a dozen lady anglers in the series, which is amazing. Bassmaster has their Bassmaster initiative for the 3rd season coming on. And that's Anastasia Patterson, Maggie Jo Outdoors, and Christine Fisher. They make a big push in that. They have seminars at a lot of the Bass Open series and a couple of the elites. And it's working. I know Barbara's fished for a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. Like you all mentioned, we got Pamela Worth, Wendy Biles, Amy Brown, Kylie Short.
And all those women will show up and take your money too. They're not just there.
Dude, they've already cashed checks this year.
Yeah.
Barber's already Big Bass Barb is her nickname. Big Bass Barb.
Yeah, I like that. And so Greg, you see now Greg's moved away. Is he still driving down to fish, or has he just had to move out of operations?
Yeah, he's in the process of moving now, unfortunately. So we're gonna be losing Greg. He's one of our best members. Everybody in the club loves Greg.
Yeah, and so poor mouth Blake, I'm just here to hang out with the fellows. Is in third place, bringing a little heat himself. And then Chris Mitchell, he studded out on the Harris chain, Kissimmee chain, on in the Bassmaster, and then Brian is in first place there. So, how many events are in each region this year?
8.
We're gonna have 8 in each region, and
Wow.
6 go to your AOY. So
Yep.
And so, what does it take to make y'all's championship in Florida? The one that Peckerhead Bassmaster director squoze into August or September.
for us this year, it's going to be top 35 in each region for AOY, but we're going to base that off of 4 events instead of 6 for the people that can't make it to 6 events. So
Okay, so it's points only, not so many from each event.
Yeah, points only. So that's 35 from each region, and then we'll roll down for people that can't make it. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good little format there.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I like about Bass Nation, and it was always really confusing as we were trying to build it all. Is every state has their own sovereignty. You can kind of build it however you want it. There aren't very many things that are mandated because Bass Nation is separate from Bassmaster. So
Yeah.
That was what was already cool here. So. Now here we like to mess around with Brandon and Dwayne, and that's just because I know them the most, because we've got to fish together and y'all travel and on the road and stuff and everything. So we got Richard White the third, Bryce Clements, and then we got Matt, Brandon, and Dwayne. That's like the 3 musketeers of Florida fishing. They really are. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty tight there. 74, 76, and 580. I think Brian's got a 65 or a 75 point lead, which, any event. And so y'all's AOY race is how many events per 8?
6 of the 8.
6 of the 8. Okay. Yeah, got you. Well, that's pretty good. So like me, I'm always like, oh, I don't want to make it where you got to do too many to do to whatever, because I'm an enabler, and I think people won't fish it or something like that. But that 6 out of the 8 is something for me and Sassy to think about, because
One thing I like is the +5 for attending awards. That's something we could probably learn from and do.
That greatly increased our participation at awards. We brain whatever together all before the year, because we were trying to figure out how to get more people to show up to awards, because it's important. Hell, it looks good for sponsors. It's good for the people that win to have people there to support them and cheer them on. So that was something we came up with, and we weren't sure how good it was going to work, but so far it's been working really well. So
it's not a bad thing. We get about maybe 70% of our anglers that show up to awards, but something like that might be something we adopt.
Yeah, and
Maybe
I'll be honest,
next season.
Shit, man, put it in right now. I'm just telling you.
We can put it in right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you got. It's just, it's something. Not to go too far down the road, but like when AJ McCorder first moved in our area, he moved in with our grassroots club TVKA with us for a little while, and AJ and Jay Wallen and Jake Stone, they had a really good club in Kentucky. Bluegrass Bass Yackers that Kyler Branham took over for a little while. But, again, I default to, placating, the loudest kind of crybaby-ish stuff. And AJ was like, if you take it from 10 events to 8 and make it, 6 for your AOI, you're going to make people have to fish. And I'm like, well, but I'm thinking it's just going to make people say, man, I'm not in it. So we did it. And true enough, like Daniel said, like with your +5, it increased attendance. It did.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to check-ins, people want to say, oh, the kayaking ain't what it used to be. It's not the same, camaraderie or whatever. Well, it's because at the end of the day, when you're done fishing, you want to complain about having to drive 35, 40 minutes to check in. Well, that's just part of the game too, maybe, You know, if you
Yeah,
got something going on.
I love this conversation, and honestly, we were all worried too, Matt. We were like, man, I don't know, and we were trepidatious about it. But Brian brought in a bunch of sponsors, so we pay out the top 10%, and then beneath that, 5, 6, 7, 8 get prizes. We're bringing DOA lures for everybody. We had stickers made for everybody. Not a big deal, but small tokens of the gratitude. I brought a cooler full of drinks to one. Like I said, the video thing is huge because I'm filming people that don't catch any fish, and I'm filming them complaining about it, and it's magical.
Yeah, it's great work. Blake is incredible with his.
The most recent video I put out, the guy's like, sucks.
I saw that.
Took off in the weeds, and I'm like, this is the start of the video. And you know what?
One takeaway I have from tonight is DOA lures. I'm definitely looking that one up. Thanks, guys.
DOA rattle traps for the win.
Dude, listen. DOA is like the premier bass fishing lure. You guys don't know that?
I don't.
No, we're everything is working, and honestly, the reason why it's working is because everybody's grateful and happy, and honestly, a lot of people are catching fish. And we did a rookie of the year thing this year. Dusty from Catch sent me like a rookie of the year catch board. Didn't pay for it, sent it, and I was like, and then Old Town gave me a life vest, and I was like, I'm gonna run this rookie of the year thing, and like Kylie Short, these people who have never fished a kayak tournament ever, they're like gung ho about winning this rookie of the year thing, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's just like give it like you said, Steve. It's like I'm full of fear too. I'm like, what if nobody comes? What if nobody comes?
Yeah.
Like, we got to get people to sign up. That's why I'm tweaking on the internet like a crackhead, posting, sign up. Matt's like, Blake, don't worry about it. And I'm like,
that's me.
You're talking to Steve. Steve's got 180 signed up for a Bassmaster, and he's upset. Just letting you know. Like,
well, I have a disease of more. And, me and Matt have good balance. Everybody has good balance. And that's why it takes a village. And, I wanted to say this earlier when you were talking about the Bass Nation model in my brain. And when I was talking to Nelly, because we, like Matt said, when we knew Greg was phasing out, we started talking. We're like, we got to do what Steve Owens is doing. We're like, Georgia Bass Nation's getting numbers. Tennessee Bass Nation's getting numbers. I was like, let's just do what they're doing. Cool shit. So,
I appreciate that. And honestly, we're learning from y'all on some of this as far as like Tennessee is a different place, a different world. Like those anglers, for some reason, they're so concentrated and they show up. They show up in numbers and they show up often. And hearing the other things like the +5 and y'all are doing things right, especially gaining those sponsors. Sponsors are a huge part of it. And things in Florida absolutely are going to grow. And I think Florida is one of the biggest, like Tennessee Bass Nation on the boat side. Nothing touches them. Like it's Tennessee, it's Alabama. Then I think on the boat side, then it's maybe some of the other states. But the anglers are different. But the kayak side's got it beat. They have it beat on everything. Like we get to attend the president's meetings on the Tennessee side, and we get to hear a ton of praise, and they get to benefit from some of our anglers coming into it. But hearing some of the stuff that y'all are doing is fantastic, and it's a plus for us to hear it. And I'm glad we did this podcast for that kind of information. And I appreciate you guys doing it right and stepping up, because that's the one thing that it takes for this to happen is tournament directors to step up, have heart in something, and want to grow something. You get to fish those series as well. You get to benefit from the partnership and people fishing. But that's huge to us too, to like not have to come in and be involved on our end is huge as well. Tennessee's having to jump into other states and help other people. But y'all are doing it. You're doing it right. And we appreciate it. That's fantastic.
Thanks, brother. And Matt said something early in the year too. It's like when we, as directors or whatever you want to call us, get to hand out $1,000 at an event, like a local derby. Like we've had that opportunity every event. It's like
for one day.
We get high. I get high watching other people.
Yeah.
Like to them, that's like insane. So 1 day event, 8 hours on a plastic boat. You're getting a G. It's a $70, buy-in. Plus, that's, like, no, everybody will tell you it's not about the money, but it's kind of cool.
It is cool.
$1,000 pays for all your entry fees for the whole year.
Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
and some.
Yes.
So, anyways, I'm done.
Yeah, but like what you said, that means a lot to hear. Hey, we want to try it because like when we started TVKA, we copied a lot of what NACA does, North Alabama Kayak Anglers, who are on a pause, by the way. But Nate Mayfield and those guys down there just wrecked it. It was almost like Mountain State Kayak Anglers in West Virginia, like before Jody Queen and Matt Ball were like studs. They're anglers that you should just wear them out, but they didn't travel. Because we only had KBF, which was sort of regional, sort of national. And then when Chad built that to the platform to where you could travel and make some really big money, and then Hobie came in and reinvented the wheel, with AJ McWhorter, and not to go too far down that rabbit hole, but nothing is ever going to be the same unless AJ gets back involved with it. Because I appreciate everything everybody says. I'm a really good tournament director. I'm a really good facilitator. I'm a really good lover of people. But AJ comes up with the ideas. AJ comes up with the things. And he helped me build, RTVKA, as I mentioned, Bass Nation, Bassmaster. He's a selfless person and my brother and one of my best friends ever. And but those all those things coming, you always try to sample from, like you listen to Bowie and then you pull a little bit from Hendrix and then you pull a little bit from, Howlin' Wolf or whatever. And then you just make this different kind of music. But what you guys are doing in Florida, thank y'all for looking at what we do. But, as far as marketing it, I wasn't kidding. You got Queen City, you got Bassmaster, you got KBF, you got the whole 9 yards. Y'all are doing better than we ever have and better than anyone is on hyping and promoting your anglers. And so that right there is just amazing. That's what I was telling Daniel. It's just like that. That's just what makes it exciting. So we appreciate y'all doing that. And so, I'll let each of y'all go. We'll start here with Matt and then go with Brian and Blake. And when Daniel gets back, just close us out with something, I don't know, a case of raw, or just whatever. And then I'll just give some of the details on the event before we get out of here.
Well, I don't have much other than guys come out and see us. Like Steve said, we're growing a great thing. Georgia's always had a great thing and always growing as well. It's gonna be a good time. Just go out there and sling a rod trap and chatterbait and catch some big ones.
Any particular color? No, go ahead. What do you got, Brian? Green pumpkin. You got to go buy what is it? This many green pumpkins.
Green pumpkin Magnum speedworm for any other time of year. This time of year, I'm going to tell you, you probably leave it home and you'll be all right.
I got you. So, Brian, what do you got in the works? What are you going to do? What are you trying to do nationally? I know you got a really good business going. So what about, the 24th and going forward in 2026 for you?
Well, I just want to say I don't want to lose Big Bass to you again this time. But yeah, I'm going hard with Bassmaster National this year. I'm going to try to chase AOI finally for once. So
awesome.
Those schedule kind of lines up the way on lakes that I like, and where that I think I should do pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. But I just want to reiterate for the event at Seminole that, again, you guys try to make it out to the awards. Again, for Florida, you're going to get your extra 5 points as well. Don't anybody outside of the money. The first place outside of the money is going to get a prize pack. The next place down is going to prize pack, and the next place after that's going to prize pack. So just because you didn't make the money, they might get a prize there. So do show up to the awards, and we look forward to seeing you.
Bliggity Blake.
Yes, Florida Bass Nation Anglers. Are we going to let Steve Owens of Georgia Bass Nation Anglers win 3 years in a row? I mean, he's a great guy. He does a lot for the community, but it's war. It's war. No, all seriousness though, it's my first time going there. I've never fished there. I'm a little bit intimidated, but I'm excited. I'm more excited than anything. Another guy hit me up, DM me, said, Blake, I've never been there. What should I look at? What should I launch? I said, Bud, I've never been there either. Amy Brown wrote on the flyer for this thing today. She said, I really want to go. I've never been. Amy, let's go. You know, all you got to do is have rattle trap and a chatterbait and follow Steve Owens. Let's go.
There you go.
Nationally, I'm going to Clear Lake. I do want to say, Steve, I'll see you at Clear Lake. I'm going to California. I'm excited about that. My father-in-law has an Old Town Vapor, which is like a $400 sit inside kayak that I'm going to be fishing on Clear Lake in. So I'm terrified, excited, all the things. Drew Gregory is a guy I really look up to, and I want to do those kind of things. I have zero electronics. I like going out there and I like getting off the grid and fishing, and I like talking to birds and doing all kind of weird shit. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to bed. I'm driving to Chobe at 3 a.m. So I'm out. Peace.
You gonna bring them funny looking pants to Clear Lake?
I mean, I can. Anything for you. Anything for you.
I like it. All right, appreciate you, Blake. I'll go through the details here. Thank you.
Peace.
Sassy Dan, what you got going on?
All right. February 21st, come up and fish Watts Bar with Tennessee Bass Nation. If y'all are in Bass Nation, you're already a member. It's easy peasy. You just sign up, let us know your Bass ID number. We'll get you added to the roster. 1 month later, after that, March the 21st, Nickajack. Nickajack's a huge fishery. So hit 2 of them back to back, do whatever you can. Then it's Kentucky Lake, Guntersville, Pickwick, Chick, and just keeps rolling on from there. Come fish it. I'm half tempted to come fish Seminole now just because of the hype and everything we got going on. So you never know. I might be down there, or maybe not. It's a heck of a drive, but I love that fishery. Like, Seminole is a magical place. Steve's probably the person that can test it the most. He's won the most money there in the last couple of years, but it's a fantastic fishery. But hey, fish what we do. We appreciate it. And the loyalty in Georgia and Tennessee with what we do is just fantastic. We appreciate it. And even on the Bassmaster side, it makes us happy to continue this on, and you guys showing up's always huge to us. We appreciate you, and thank you.
Appreciate you guys. And so what we're going to try to do, I'll be down there super early. We've got Kylie Short and myself, we've got a video shoot with Native on the new hammer. So I'll be down there all week. I'm gonna load the freezer with crappie. Boss lady already told me. So I'm going to Tired Creek to catch a bunch of crappie, and I'm going to spend 2 days practicing on Seminole so that I don't, do too much in my own head. So having said that, I'm thinking about trying to give us a get together on Thursday and Friday somewhere. So we'll get with everybody and catch up. But, like all the guys said, the picture we have up here right now is what's the best part about it. So the +5 to get you to come to awards, hey, probably be looking for it. I just be looking for it, because it's kind of like replanting trees. It's our job to do it, and we appreciate all the support and everything like that. And so, it goes back to Matt, like, we're going to have Georgia Bass Nation no matter what, but Matt and those guys, they've been there, I think you guys didn't even have a Florida Bass Nation the first time y'all fished Georgia Bass Nation with you. Did you, Mark? Did you, Matt? Didn't y'all fish 1 or 2 years with us down there before y'all had a Florida Bass? I think, Matt. I'm pretty sure, maybe at least 1 year. So, but you see them all here. There's Brandon and there's Dwayne. And so we appreciate all of you. We could talk all night about the stuff, but we really appreciate you. So
still live?
Yeah, you're still here, Matt? You hear Matt? I think Matt's frozen.
Steve.
Can you hear me?
He can't hear you.
Can you hear me? So Matt, so either way, what we'll do here is let me get this back up here for everybody. January the 24th, out of Donaldsonville, Seminole County in Georgia, we will have episode number 5, I think it is, for Georgia Bass Nation down there. We've had 2 state championships down there too that Joshua Deal won back to back. So, you know, your sign up will be open until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Friday, or the Friday before, which will be January the 23rd. In order to fish it, you got to be a Bassmaster member. Well, you're going to go to Bassmaster Join to get that membership, and you're going to get a Bassmaster ID number. And then from there, if you live in Florida, you get a hold of Matt Vaught and the guys at FloridaBassNation.com. Pay your dues for Bass Nation. If you're in Georgia area, get a hold of me. You're going to go to the Georgia Bass Nation Kayak Series website, which is GABNKS, abbreviation for Georgia Bass Nation Kayak Series. You're going to pay your dues there, which are $32, and that covers you across the nation. So Bassmaster and Bass Nation are 2 separate entities. Bass Nation is state level ran, so you got to have a dues to be paid there. You're going to have a waiver to sign. If you're in Florida, sign it for Florida. If you're in Georgia, sign it for Georgia. And what that does is it covers us with insurance. So what you're fishing for is 10% of the payout. For this event, the top 10% in Georgia will make it to the Georgia Bass Nation Kayak Series Championship in August. For Florida, we will announce that when we get a better connection. We'll make sure that we post it to let you know. They've already announced that it's the top 35 from each region. Best 4 events out of 6, I think, or 6 out of 8. 6 out of 8 for AOI, 4 out of 6 to make the championship, I believe. But either way, if you're from Georgia and you're only fishing this event, that's not going to matter to you. There's Purple Heart Homes donation tabs if you want to add some money to it. But, you know, as Daniel said, we're going to try to find some type of cool award to give the winner from Georgia versus Florida. So we'll extract all of those points and everything like that. So your registration is, as always, on Tourney X. We appreciate Dwayne Wally. There's a lot of cool upgrades coming from Tourney X that's going to make the fishing that we do just pretty cool. Some integrity-based options coming in. So we appreciate everybody right there. As always, you know, Sassy Dan is the ABC, the reason I get to do what I do. So we just appreciate everybody there. And I think everybody's gone now, so it's just me here. So appreciate all that you guys do. We ran a little long tonight. And so what's that? I knew you wore pantyhose every day. See, you wears clear pantyhose.
I'll donate it. You can engrave it.
Clear pantyhose. Clear pantyhose.
It's a beer boot. Ain't no clear pantyhose.
Oh, my bad.
Background's getting me.
I got you. Heck yeah. All right. Well, we're going to come up with something real cool. So we appreciate all you guys, and we're going to sign off here, and we'll be looking out for you. And y'all pressure Sassy Dan to drive down and fish with us next week. Appreciate you guys.
See ya.
See you, my man.